Right, today for the second week in a row, I'm going to talk about what's going on with people's, especially teachers' mental health, and hammer home some realities of what's going on now in UK schools because it is so bad. I'm not just a primary maths advisor, I also am an elected counsellor, so I see what's going on from parents' points of view and across the supporting services. So I have got a big view of what's going on in society, and we need to talk about this. So I'm going to talk a bit about why lockdown 3 is so much more brutal on people than lockdowns 1 and 2 were, and I'm going to make a couple of recommendations. The first is for teachers who are watching. Last week I talked about the need to go off sick if you need to. I know how hard that is because you feel like even if you go off sick, things are just going to get worse. But really, you sleep, and sleep is crucial because there's a good chance that's really going to help everything. I'm going to talk about the importance of planning one step at a time and setting really short time horizons for coping and not trying to catastrophize what's happening now, because the stresses are so intense. A lot of the emotional experiences you'll be having are not real. They're not what matters in the long term. You need plans to get to the end of the week rather than plans to change your career just now. And the third thing I'm going to say is that I think primary schools need to be thinking about pushing the government to go to a 4-day teaching week to try and get as many teachers as possible at home on a Friday so that they sleep better at the weekend and can get more on top of their personal lives. Obviously, a few teachers will need to be in on rota to supervise the children. I mean, more children may be able to stay at home if parents aren't having to homeschool them. So I think there needs to be pushback just to cope from getting today to tomorrow. The news today is that this lockdown is likely to go on for longer. So lockdown 3 is very, very different. In lockdown 1, children, if you were a parent, if you did an hour or two a day with your kids, you were doing really well if they got an hour or two's work done. And families went with the flow. Kids could get up late. You could just live in the moment, and there was lots of outdoor walking in the sunshine with your kids, lots of people going for bike rides, and all of that has gone now that it's the middle of winter and children are having to do 4 or 5 hours a day online teaching. It's exhausting for the families, it's exhausting for the children, it's exhausting for the families. Even if you've got secondary school children, they are tired. You need to drag them out of bed, you need to get them online, you need to keep checking on them all day, you need to make sure they're fed. Normally they're gone as a parent. Parents are knackered. Hi, if you're watching, if you've got any questions about Maths Ed, please do post them. I will answer them later in this live stream if there's a need for that. So everyone is shattered, and as a parent, you feel like you're letting your kids down and you're working much harder. Normally they're gone all day. There's just so much more work to do because they're in the house. So that's going on across society for everyone who's working if they're also a parent. As teachers, the younger teachers who don't yet have children, they are really struggling because they don't have the constant mentoring of being in the staff room that they need. A lot of young adults need it desperately at that stage of life, and they're not getting it. Just the incidental conversations with the older teachers. Teachers who are parents, it is just brutal. The sense that you're letting your own kids down because you're not there, because you're knackered from your teaching, is just awful. Teachers who are older are often really struggling with the IT. It's very, very stressful. And sheer workload as a primary teacher of dual teaching, live streaming and teaching a class. I'm watching the forums. It's awful. It's really, really challenging. Back home, I know lots of parents who were coping brilliantly in lockdown 1 and were getting all the work done. They're not coping now. Teachers are not happy. Parents are getting iller with this new variant. It's really worrying. We're watching our social media feeds and you're watching your friends with children at primary school and suddenly husbands in hospital. And we've had deaths of people into their 30s with no complications. So just as the health service is tipping over in that there are no beds, we're just at that marginal point where people who just need some hospital care are struggling to get in. And all my respect to the health chiefs who are managing it brilliantly. And it's stunning that it's not worse than it is. But so in the whole of society, the stress levels are so extreme that families are falling apart, relationships are falling apart in a way that's a step change different to lockdowns 1 and 2. And when people are looking for help, they're not finding it because everyone else is stressed too. So we need to acknowledge how bad it is and we need to take action. So as a teacher, that means that your horizons have to be the end of the week in terms of coping with your stress levels. You can't be thinking further ahead than that. If you're wrecked, you need to take time off. You need to sleep. If your thoughts are chaotic and you're really, really stressed, you need to sleep first before you can assess your own mental health. Because it's Macbeth, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care. It really does. If you are able to put yourself in a situation where you can just sleep for 12 hours and then work out where you are and how to put one foot in front of another, you will make much wiser decisions than if you aren't able to sleep first. At a school's level, I think you need to be pushing back about what you're being asked to do, and it's difficult to know how to get from where we currently are with teachers, hybrid teaching 5 days a week, to somewhere that's a bit more sane. And I think the key is to look at Fridays and make them a non-online teaching day and get as many teachers and school staff at home as possible to give them more recovery time, the chance to sleep in. So for me, back in my world of maths education, I'm not managing to do as much like everyone else, but I have managed to create a video this week that I'm incredibly proud of. It's the year 2 video on using the bead string, and that's going live at 9:30 today. I'm not really expecting anyone to watch it because reality bites and nobody is thinking about being the best teacher that they can be just now. Everyone is just trying to survive. So all love and best wishes to you. Take care. Bye.